the premier sports betting show, the primetime angles with the one and only Pop Dibiase, the primetime capper. Let's go ahead and get into the NBA preview. The NBA preview that I have today for you is going to be the LA Clippers. And the Clippers right now are in the process of trying to acquire James Harden. And they're kind of running into a snag food because the 76ers want a little bit more from the draft prospects, and the Clippers really don't have much to offer in the draft department, but I know that they do have a lot to offer in the assets department. But you have a guy in Daryl Morey who is values draft picks, because draft picks is not even really about drafting guys with the draft picks. It's about having these draft picks. So when it's time to maneuver other deals, you can maneuver these draft picks to another team. That's why you see so many teams nowadays where where the pick was traded from Washington. But the thing is, though, the pick belongs to the Lakers, and then it winds up belonging to the Rockets, and then the Rockets traded off to the Grizzlies, and the movie continues. You know what I mean? But all in all, they're precious value, precious assets for the middling teams that get or that will have to move off of the superstar that they're moving off of. So the Clippers don't have that in place because they pretty much got rid of all that when they acquired Paul George. And Paul George has been more of, I would say, a waste than anything, but he did get the Clippers to the furthest they've ever been to, a conference championship. That's something incredible. That's something great to commend to, and they were very close to doing something in that championship as well too. I'm still seething a little bit, being in Vegas that night at the Flamingo, and the way that game ended with Phoenix and DeAndre Ayton hitting that shot with about zero point 0.2 seconds left to go in the game. It's still just, the irony of the situation, man. I was like, how do you let that guy get the ball? You know what I mean? But it is what it is. At the end of the day, things happen, right? So pretty much the Clippers now, they are a team that has became their own worst enemy, in my opinion. I feel like the Clippers could be the best of the best in the NBA if they truly played up to that dynamic, but they just don't. That's the whole thing. And the Clippers last year probably had their best opportunity to win a championship without Kawhi being out there, because you had a Western Conference that was wide open. Come on, you saw the Lakers, who were a team that had dragged themselves into the playoffs, get all the way to the conference championship. And that could have been the Clippers if they were able to get everybody together at the right time. And if they had Kawhi, they probably would have been the 1 seed last year. And I don't think Denver would have had it that easy going to the finals, because I truly feel like they had it pretty easy getting to the finals last year. Let's keep it real. They took advantage of a lot of teams that were already hurt when they got there to them, or teams that were just definitely cooked. But that's not their problem. That's not their fault. They took advantage of it. They won the series. They won the title. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. When you can't do that, when you can't pull that off, you're just not good enough. And that's what it's been with the Clippers for the last 5 years. And the Clippers went and got Kawhi Leonard. Everybody handed him a championship. But it still hasn't came to fruition because Kawhi needs more. Kawhi needs guys that are going to be able to sacrifice themselves for the betterment of the team, not sacrifice yourselves when you need to step up and win 5 in a row to get yourself back into the playoff picture. You have to be good every night. You have to think about a championship mentality every single night. The Clippers have what it takes, but do they have the coach? Do they have the general manager? Does the owner have the patience to keep sticking with this situation that's not going anywhere? That's the biggest questions that you have for the Clippers. If I was Ballmer, I would tell everybody right now, we're about to move into a new arena very soon. And some of us are going to make it there and some of us aren't. And who wants to make it there, let me know. Because if you do want to make it there, you will show me that you will want to make it there. But if you don't want to make it to the new arena, then we know where you got to go. And that's exactly the mentality that the Clippers have to have. And I think that possibly if they can't get Kawhi Leonard to be fully healthy this year, they may need to think about trading him. I know that they are very gung ho about not getting rid of him. But at the same time, too, the more longer that you hold on to him and the more hurt he is and the more he doesn't play, the more his value goes down. At this point in time, his value might be at his absolute highest because teams might feel like he's just playing possum with the Clippers because the Clippers are a soft enough organization to let him get away with all this. That's the whole thing. If he was on the Lakers, he probably would have already been moved. If he was on the Knicks, he would have probably already been moved. If he was on the Bulls, he already probably would have been moved. You get my sentiments? Because the thing is, these are big market teams that know that they can bring in a big market superstar if this guy can't play. And they would have been able to go ahead and jump into the mix of trading Kawhi before you lose total value on Kawhi. And I think the Clippers are losing all the value and leverage that they could possibly get with this guy by forever letting him sit out. Because if he can't play basketball, retire. That's the biggest thing. And I love Kawhi. Kawhi is one of my favorite players. Of the 2000s, Kawhi is in my top 10. Straight up. And there's been a lot of players I've been able to look at over this time, but he has to be in most people's top 10. Best two-way player that you've seen since the 90s. So pretty much this guy, we understand the royal treatment that he gets. And he led a very irrelevant franchise in the Toronto Raptors to probably their only title ever. So he's done a lot of historic great things in the NBA with some of the more irrelevant teams in the NBA, the more irrelevant situations, but the most organized situations. Because Toronto has their stuff together, the Spurs have their stuff together, but the Clippers, they don't pass that test like those two teams do. They're steadily trying to compete with the purple and gold, the Lakers. It's been like this since Donald Sterling bought them in the 80s, that they've always been trying to sell more tickets than the Lakers. That's it. Winning championships, cool. But that doesn't mean that we're going to really chase them. Now you got Ballmer, a guy who wants to win a championship. He wants to put the best team in basketball together. He is very excited about making the Clippers his golden franchise. He wants to be Jerry Buss. He wants to be Red Auerbach. He wants to be all these great innovative owners that have made their mark on pro sports. And I feel like this Clipper team was not the right team to do that with. But over time, things can change. Things can get fixed. And he's done all the proper steps with this team. Get them their own arena so they can be a confident team. All right. Get them their own stuff, training facility, more activities for the team. Make it seem like we're a 5-star team as well too. The Clippers were always walking around like a Walmart team. Now they walk around like a team that's actually toe-to-toe with the Lakers and probably a little bit higher up on the food chain than the Lakers right now because they do have a richer owner. Their owner doesn't need 15 partners to own the team. Okay, so the Clippers have a lot going in the positive direction, but can they see it? That's the whole thing. They say they can see it, but can they truly see it? Because when you can see it, you'll be more of a consistent team. But with the Clippers this year, I truly do feel like if you can get Kawhi back to play 80% of the season, and you can get George to play 80% of the season, and you keep Westbrook around to play 90 to 95% of the season, this will probably be the top seed in the Western Conference if they want to do that. It's up to them. It's up to them because the Clippers at this point in time, they are their own worst enemy, and that's where I'm going to end this at right now. So it is what it is at the end of the day. They'll figure it out if they want to. That's the whole thing. So with that, let's go ahead and move forward to our next